well, just the limited games of the weekend. But quick turnaround, 3 games, 5 days. We talked about this yesterday when talking about Florida State and the big win over Duke. And by the way, you know this, I was reading an article this morning. I was going through sort of an ACC overview of where we sit at this point, and this guy, the writer, who I can't remember who I was reading, but was assessing. It's actually in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette of all places. He was assessing the ACC, talking about Pitt's place in it and how terrible they are. And it reminded me, that I'm glad we're not Pitt right now, because there was once a time where they were really good and they're just god awful. But his point was he was from afar, and I know we did a lot of praising yesterday in light of that big win, and so rightfully so. But from afar, he was assessing Florida State's program, and he was saying that, he has no connections to Florida State, no connections to Tallahassee, no connections to Florida at all. And he's from Pittsburgh and all, and he was talking about, he goes, man, I really admire the Florida State program. And he kind of went into why. And he was saying that at the beginning of the year when he watched us get blown out by Purdue and he saw the South Carolina game, and he was like, man, doesn't look like Florida State has what they've had lately. They're just not going to be very good at all. And I think a lot of us felt that too. I wanted to yell out to the guy like, yeah, man, I think we were doing a little hand-wringing too. But then he said, he's watching the game against Miami, then he watched the game against Duke, and he's like, man, look at them. Every year, they start to round into form. Guys, figure some things out eventually. It's true, they do. I talked to somebody near the program yesterday, and they were talking about that. They were talking about the patience that it takes when you're watching a product like we saw early this season. When Florida State's 11-5. It's not like they've got a gaudy record. It's not like we're a cinch to get in. But now you're emboldened. You're buoyed. You believe there's a chance that it can happen because you're seeing young players begin to figure it out, veteran players lead, and then having it begin to mesh, and other guys getting back and getting healthier and having opportunities, and everybody kind of learning their roles. And Leonard Hamilton's quote about after the game was about when you have young guys that are working their way into it and you're trying to figure things out, it can look bad. It can really look bad, but you have to be patient. You have to let them get in the role. Look at what they're doing. Like today, for example, Tanner Ngum is back out on the floor, so we weren't sure he was going to get back out on the floor. I know Ira Shafel has got to be elated, and Ngum is out there again after making just a cameo the other night. He's now been in there. He scored 4 points so far today, has a block today, 1 of 2 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. And, they're going to give him every opportunity. And at this point, by the way, just to run it down, how we arrived at where we did, 48-38, Florida State, North Florida. I don't have the game on in studio, so obviously, if you're watching, good on you. But for those that are driving around and can't, are working, Caleb Mills with another great day. He's 5 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 2 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, has 15 points in the first half. Raekwon Evans having a good game as well. He's perfect from the floor to go along with 3 assists and a steal. He has 7 points. Butler with 2, Polite with 2, and then the bench scoring, as I mentioned before. Matthew Cleveland already has 9, by the way. I like that kid. There's a lot to like about that kid. My man Wyatt Wilkes has 5. All right. We had begun to wash our hands of Wyatt. Then he got hot the other day. So, we know what Wyatt is. He's catch and shoot guy. Catch and shoot. No pump fake. Don't need to dribble drive. Don't worry about setting others up. Catch and shoot.
Another good number so far in the first half. 13 of 14 free throws.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Good to be with you guys. And as for there you go, Gator Kirk, watching the JCS and the basketball game at the same time. Good on you, man. Good workplace. That's a good workplace right there, huh? Going to throw on my radio show, going to throw on a little basketball, going to do what I do at the office. I don't know your situation, Gator Kirk. I'm just saying. So have we come around on games? Do we feel good this weekend? Do you have a sense, a prediction of what wins, what doesn't, how it happens, the matchup you're most interested in? I would guess, and maybe I'm deflecting because I feel less buoyed every second that I think about this Rams-Bucks game, at least as the number goes. But the reports, again, going in through yesterday, like nobody was playing for the Bucks. I mean, everybody was out. Everybody was out. It was insane. So it's a toughie. I think your hope lies in a burgeoning, healthy secondary in Tampa. The return of Levante David last week. Hopefully another week stronger. Shaq Barrett looked good last week. Another week stronger. I think your hope is that you're able to perhaps get a few gifts, a few Christmas presents from Matthew Stafford, because he'll give them up. And that could be a game changer. If you're going to look at an area of weakness, can be strength. Stafford's a weird quarterback. There are days he looks good. Days you think that was, the right pickup. We all thought it was at the time because he's replacing Goff, and Goff is, well, whatever. But then there are moments late in the year where you're like, is he going to screw this up? Is he going to pull a Goff? Is he going to start looking like some of the guys that we question, like Jimmy G with the 49ers and others, right? Where you're like, Stafford, the Rams offense, when he doesn't turn it over, they rank third in passing EPA per play. If you look at them, they're good. He just has to avoid throwing a pick. When he avoids throwing an interception and they're able to create that balance with the running game that they have, they're really efficient. If you look at the Bucs offense, it's really good too because, well, let's be honest, Tom Brady, it's really amazing. And here's the crux of the game. Here's the whole deal. Can a embattled in terms of injury offensive line for Tampa Bay, because when that line is healthy, you can certainly argue from a pass blocking standpoint, it's the best offensive line in football. Actually, I don't think it's not really something you'd question. When they're healthy, they block it up in the passing game better than any team in the league. They're not the best run blocking team in the league. They're not terrible. They're good. They're plus. They're a plus group. Can they block the Rams defensive line? There's your game. There's the whole game. To me. This was an easy game for them last week against the Eagles because they were able to prove early on that if they want, they could do whatever they wanted. From the first play of the game, you get the run right up the gut for like 15. From that play forward, you go, they kind of can do whatever they want. If they want to run it, they can run it. If they want to pass it, they're going to have time to pass it until those injuries occurred. And when Jensen goes down, and more importantly, when Wirfs goes down, and then inexplicably, and the Bucs are like, they'll roll dudes out there. And my man can barely walk on his leg. They're like, you want to give it a go? Go ahead. Give it a go.
And I was shocked,
Kerrigan just picked him up in the air.
I was shocked they had Brady out there.
Still throwing it. You sent me a
Anytime
text.
past midway through the third quarter.
Well, I was half tongue-in-cheek when I texted you back saying I'd keep throwing it because we were like, I hope he gets hurt out there throwing it up. What were we up, 31-0 or whatever it was? And I got it from your standpoint. It made me laugh. But I was half joking when I said to you, I actually think they're going to have to work on things. They're trying to get Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, Rashard Perryman. They're trying to get those guys to where they feel comfortable. In my mind, some sort of rhythm. It's so weird to see. So Brady, I was listening to a defender, a former NFL defender. Might have been Ninkovich talking about this the other day because, of course, he played with Brady in New England. And I've grown to understand this in watching the Bucs and watching him in his 2 years in Tampa. The connection, and this is why he went to bat for the lunatic that is Antonio Brown, the understanding of what he wants from a player against a certain look. So, obviously defenses try a lot to switch things up, and there's nothing that he hasn't seen. And his ability to process information rapidly pre-snap probably makes him virtually, when upright, unstoppable because, again, he has seen everything there is to see. There aren't too many looks you're going to be able to disguise and confuse him. I mean, how many times have you been watching a game, I don't know, in the last 10 years where you would legitimately say, man, Tom looks completely baffled. They've got him lost. Like, you never say that. When they lose, it's usually because he's getting hit they lack weapons, something like that. It's not because he's coming to the line and not understanding what he's seen at a rate that nobody else does. It's crazy. I say nobody else. I mean, obviously Manning did when he was in the league. There are a few. Aaron Rodgers has seen pretty much everything, but even Aaron Rodgers can get confused. A year ago, you saw it.
When the Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl, it wasn't from Brady not playing well. He threw for over 500 yards that game.
yards and scored 40, right? I mean,
it was 41-33.
Yeah, I mean,
just got outdueled.
Yeah, their defense gave up even more points to an unlikely source. So, I mean, yeah, that was Doug Peterson's big moment, buddy. That was a well-called game. But yeah. It's not because he's out there completely baffled. I guess my point would be what he wants from guys, and I don't know that timing's going to be there this weekend. And if you couple it with this offensive line, even Wirfs and Jensen going to play, and I assume they will, the key to that, and you'll know in the first quarter. So I would suggest, since this is a Redemption Thursday and we lean betting on Redemption Thursdays, I would strongly suggest, because I really struggled to wrap my mind around these games with a definitive pick today. Normally I walk through the door. Matthew can tell you, Tom can tell you. I spent a little time on it last night after the golf show. I get up in the morning, I drink my coffee. I'm looking at the matchups. I'm trying to find nuggets, kernels of information that will give us some insight there. And obviously the better the matchup, the harder it is to circle or find a specific thing in which you go, well, this is not something they can overcome through scheme. This is not something they're going to be able to hide, to disguise. So, every team, strengths, weaknesses, you're doing all that stuff. And today, man, this morning, I'm sitting there, this is tough.
I think you were dead on yesterday with your teaser with the Bengals and Packers, because looking at the lines for the Sunday games, Rams, Bucks, and Bills, Chiefs, I don't think there's any play, at least on the line.
Like nothing jumps, does it? So if you're going through so let's start, since I was talking about Tampa Bay, and I'll get to San Francisco, Green Bay in a second. We'll just go NFC here. So Rams, Bucks favored by 3. When that line came out, I said, okay, so they say these two teams are dead even on a neutral field. If Godwin were playing, if there were no injuries, like we knew Fournette was a 100% go, ready to go, no problems, able to practice. These are all big ifs, but if those things were intact, if the team was as constructed when re-signed in totality at the end of last year after a Super Bowl victory, I'd say the Bucs are better than the Rams. But it's not the way it is. It's not the way it is. Godwin is gone, and he is the catalyst for the offense. He is the workhorse in the slot, and we know in Arians' offense, you've got to have that guy. Then, obviously, Antonio Brown got himself kicked out of the league. So now you lost 2 guys that absolutely create mismatches, because who are you going to double? Who are you going to double? To go along with Evans, and to go along with Gronk. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I mean, just too many weapons, plus that offensive line being able to pass block, etc. But that's not the case. He is gone. Brown is gone. Jensen did get hurt last week and hasn't practiced all week long. Going to play. We know he's going to play. We'll see how effective he can be. It's vital that he be very, very, very good. Think about the interior of the line. Think about what the Rams do defensively. Think about Aaron Donald. Think about those guys, right? Then you have a Pro Bowl right tackle who has been nothing but great since entering the league a year ago, and he goes down, and that's a high ankle sprain, and high ankle sprains are a bitch. They're not things that typically heal real easily or quickly is the better way of saying that. And I don't know clearly there's not structural damage, because if there had been, they would have had to announce it, because he'd be gone. You're not going to risk his career for this game. So, maybe that's just something you can tort all up and hope like hell he doesn't feel anything and is able to play through without doing further damage. But short of that, and you'll know in the first quarter, that's why I say live bet, short of that, this should be 3 the other way. I think it should be 3 the other way. And the Rams did what the Bucs did a year ago, which was ante up. At some point, you look at your roster and you go plus here, plus there, plus here. This is all good enough to win a Super Bowl if. And then as a GM, you're saying this, we're all right. Here's our salary cap situation. This is short-lived. We have pushed the chips to the middle of the table and said, we're making a go of it. And if we get it, great. That's the whole thing. Hoist the Lombardi. You got it forever. Those flags fly forever. And when the team falls apart in 2 years because you don't have the money to re-sign your Pro Bowl players, it's all right. Everybody goes, we get it. You made a run of it. Now regroup. It's an 8-8 league. It's a salary cap league. Can't suck forever. Can't turn around and just like the Bucs did from 0-2 on. Can't do that. But you do get a grace period to breathe, to get your finances right, to draft and figure it out after a Super Bowl win in which you went out and got critical free agents and put the money to the middle of the table. And so the Rams, we said it in the offseason. We all circled them immediately. You said outside of the Bucs, who re-signed everybody, knock on wood, health will be the key there. You moved them over here to this category of serious Super Bowl contender. Everybody knew that. Green Bay, who by rights would, once again, if Aaron Rodgers wasn't off hosting game shows or espousing cockamamie theories, you knew at that moment, okay, well, if they come together and he plays and cares and they're all on the same page, the Packers will be elite again. Great. And then we went Rams, got a quarterback. Okay, to go with everything else. That's obviously a contender. And they come in healthy. They come in feeling good. They come in flying high. They come in hungry like the Bucs were hungry a year ago. And it's a deadly combination. Hungry against a, embattled and beat up and slightly shorthanded team. I think I'm leaning Rams, but I think I'm going to live bet the game. I think I'm going to just live bet the game. I'm not going to take a number there. The other game, which is potentially great, same situation though, is San Francisco healthy enough? I like the matchup for the 49ers offense. The rush defense for the Packers is 28th in EPA this year. The 49ers want to run the ball. The Packers struggle to stop the run. Shorten the game, keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. Pray that Jimmy G doesn't throw interceptions. There's your game plan. My man, you're going to have to make a few key throws on third down. Try not to screw this up. It's weird to say that out loud for a guy that's taken a team to the Super Bowl, but it's true. It's like that's where you're at. Basketball game, 7 points. I had a fear this would be close. 3 games, 5 days, look ahead game exhausted. No Malik Osborne, emotional high the other night, followed by a 4-win team rolling into the TLC Double C. No legs, no emotion. Could make it tough. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Here from Seminole Auto Glass. Remember when you used to get yelled at for writing the Braille?
Oh yeah, those bumps on the yellow line. That was before the car techie stuff we have now, like lane keep assist.
You know, when your windshield is replaced, those cameras need to be reset. It's called recalibration. Seminole Auto Glass was the first to offer it here.
Nice, keeping us inside the line instead of riding the line.
And we offer drop-off or mobile service. Plus, we give you a $50 gift card with your windshield through insurance. We're more than just a glass company. We're your local auto glass experts. Better call Seminole.
For over 5 years now, McGowan's Hops and Grapes out in Bannerman Crossing has shown us not only what excellent service is, but what excellent food is. They've got their bacon flights. They have their shareables. They have their BLTs. Yes, I said BBLT. I didn't stutter. They also have a tremendous draft beer selection and a fantastic wine selection that the owners pick out personally. McGowan's Hops and Grapes is the place to go. Great food and great people. Go visit them today out in Bannerman Crossing in Northeast Tallahassee.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out?
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Tough. I think we came down from the high of the basketball game the other night. Now you got to get yourself back up. I'm not so sure the basketball team has. I'm not so sure I have. We're kind of just like, all right, let's lay back and listen to the Stones. It's going to be all right. It's a good call. I see where this game is going to be a problem for me trying to do a radio show. It's 56-53. Okay, here we go. How am I supposed to concentrate and talk to people and entertain at the same time while I'm worried that my Noles are going to come crash landing after such an emotional win before heading off to Miami? No. And the Ospreys are straight up shooting the lights out. 10 of 17 from three. Let them fly, boys. In particular, Hicklin, and I guess that's Adedin. I don't know. I'm probably not saying his name correctly at all, but those two are, a cool 7-11 combined from three. Get a hand up. Get your hand up. They're letting it fly. Are you pulling it up? Oh, man.
Adedin
can fire. 3 of 3 from beyond the arc, and Hicklin is 4 of 8. So, again, we'll keep you posted. 59-53 Noles now. That's good news. All right. Just win the game. This is one of those games. You do it all the time. Just get the W. I prefer it not be by a point. I'll be nervous. We were talking about San Francisco and Green Bay. I thought it was a perfect matchup for the 49ers from a standpoint of the 49ers offense against the Packers defense. The Packers struggle against the run. Green Bay, if they don't have the opportunity to shut that down. Let's say they don't shut that down, then you give Jimmy a lot of opportunities to throw with advantage, as opposed to anything behind the chains, which will have most San Francisco fans biting their nails. So we'll see. Packers offense against 49ers defense. This has been, well, a really, 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 really good group. They're number 1 in passing EPA per play. They're number 6 in rushing EPA per play. They're an elite offense. And if Nick Bosa, Fred Warner are both, I mean, right now it looks like they're trending to play. They got hurt, by the way, by having this game to be on on a Saturday. That sucks. That sucks. But Bakhtiari is back on the offensive line for Green Bay. So I'm going to guess, are we leaning towards shootout here? High scoring in freezing cold weather? Pull up that weather. By the way, Packers -6. Packers are off a bye in this game. That's a steeper price, but that's a big price. That's a big price to me. What's
looking at a 12-degree game in Green Bay?
Players tell you that I've never played anything like that, 12 or 5 or 7 or 9 or anything like that. But players will tell you you can play in cold. It's the wind and the rain that will upset offenses. So
it is worth noting that some people are saying that the injury to Garoppolo, or the injuries, the hand and the shoulder, are worse than what the team is disclosing. So that might be a factor as well.
This game screams, don't bet me. Unless you're going to bet the total over. I mean,
I feel that way about Bills and Chiefs. That line is too low either way if you want to tease it. And I wouldn't touch the 1.5, but if you tease it up to 5.5 for Buffalo, that's, I mean, 20.
So the total, now you can shop that total. I've seen it as low as 52. I've seen it, 54.5. Where are you seeing it? Total for Chiefs, Bills.
I'm seeing it at 53.5 right now.
Okay. Shop it around. Find your totals. You think it's too low?
I think the line is too low.
Right. Oh, you do.
Because if you tease that up to 5.5 for Buffalo, that's still too low. You want either 6 or more.
Yeah, you got to cross the important numbers, sure.
And you're not going to tease it for Kansas City over a touchdown in this game with these offenses.
Man, that game's going to be awesome. I have not, other than a Bucs game, I have not been this excited, like childlike giddy, to watch a football game in a long time. That Bills team has a whole lot of anger to them. I mean, now it could be just the dismantling of New England that remains fresh in my mind. Obviously, if you watch a guy go down the field 7 consecutive possessions and score and only get stopped once taking a knee for the first time ever in postseason history, then you can't help but come away very impressed. And the Chiefs do the weirdest things. That number, obviously Mahomes had a great game, but it's 0-0 in the middle of the second quarter last week. And I don't think they can afford to start that slow again. I mean, don't you feel like if the Bills get up a couple of scores and it turns into the track meet when the Chiefs wake up, that the Chiefs end up losing this game crazily, like 48-34 or something like that? Like, you could see it. What a weird damn team Buffalo is. Think about them earlier in the year. Well, we start the year, they look like the best team in football. And it's on the heels of them getting so much better a year ago. And you thought that is a team on the rise and a quarterback on the rise. They go through some spells, some of it brought on by injury, where all of a sudden they really are wildly inconsistent offensively. And, they get some really ugly losses. All of a sudden, I mean, it doesn't get worse than losing to Jacksonville. Although the Colts said, we'll do it when it matters more. But you watch that and you think, oh man, something's amiss. There were accuracy issues, all that stuff was going on, and then it's like, righted the ship. Here we go. Get you some. Gonna destroy whatever's before us. Good for them. Those are starving fans who I like, passionate fans who I like. Update: Florida State 61, Ospreys 55. I believe that is correct. Trying to give you the latest as we come in and out of breaks. Yeah. 11:49 to go in the game. Florida State leads North Florida 61-55. A weird makeup game tipped at noon. If you're driving around saying, why is he giving us update scores there? Again, not an ideal spot for Florida State in the sense that you do want to make up games. You want to garner wins. You want to, bolster the record. This is certainly not going to do anything for you from a a rankings standpoint unless you lose it. And the fear is that dead legs, dead emotions, tough to get up for a 4-14 team who's 0-11 on the road. To note, North Florida is 0-11 on the road. Let not this be the one, please. Can we not do that? 11:49, 61-55, Florida State leads. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
News now.
The person is in stable condition at a local hospital after a shooting in Quincy Wednesday afternoon. QPD officers responded to a call around 5:30 p.m. in the 100 block of South Love Street about a person suffering from a gunshot wound. Officers confirmed that the 20-year-old man had been shot and he was transported to a local hospital for treatment. Investigators are currently interviewing persons of interest in the case and are also working with the state attorney's office. The incident seems to be isolated and no threat to the public has been determined. Anyone with information regarding this incident is encouraged to call QPD at 850-627-7111. The city of Tallahassee wants to hear from you about what to do with the Northwood Center site in addition to building the new police headquarters. There are opportunities for green space, community amenities, and other economic development projects. City leaders have arranged for a community input meeting. You can join the meeting today from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Senior Center on North Monroe Street. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered rain showers likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 71. Winds out of the southwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Scattered rain showers likely tonight. Lows level off around 46. Overcast skies. Chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow. Highs level off around 52. Cloudy skies expected. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 64.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down after a first blind date. She discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Wright, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown. Starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness.
Thank you so much. That I can't express my gratitude other than to say, significantly, other than to say to you, thank you, man. That is awfully kind of you to contribute to what we do here at Warchant TV and the Jeff Cameron Show. And I know you support all the shows and all the guys here, and it means a lot. So thanks for your contributions. I didn't see it previous segment, or I would have got to it, but I see it now, and bravo. Update between Florida State and North Florida. Good news, Florida State 67, North Florida 56. For Florida State, they're led by 19 from Caleb Mills, who's been really good today again. 7 of 9 from the field, 1 of 2 from beyond the arc, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He also has 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and has 0 turnovers. So this is as good a game as you're going to get. And he is obviously a very, very talented player. But by the way, Florida State's bench, 10 from Ngam, overwhelming size advantage. 4 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, has a block, and 10 points there. So 14 also for Matthew Cleveland off the bench. He's 5 of 11. The news today is good for Cleveland in the sense that this is a kid that has not been hitting free throws. He's 4 of 5 from the free throw line today, has 7 rebounds. Man, is he athletic, to go along with the 14 points. Good for him. So that's what we got. 67, 56, 9:39 to play. To answer a couple of questions, kind of that kind of day, so fire away with them if you got them. Unfortunately, does not appear, unless, Ryan, if you want to put a request into my bosses, I can come to the Dallas Booster Club meeting. I'm not scheduled to. But if enough of you say, hey, we want Cameron in Dallas, who knows? I get a flight to Dallas out of this. I like Dallas-Fort Worth. I've been there several times. It's a fine area indeed. I'll come hang out, rub elbows with the rich, talk about Florida State's future. Speaking of the future and our place in it, good article today, credit where credit's due, Ross Dellinger for SI. It's a long read. I'm not going to go back over this for you, but a lot of really interesting quotes here. And it portends, it certainly seems, of some massive shifts in the world of college football and the NCAA. And one of the things I thought was fascinating, and you can go read that article. I posted it on my Twitter feed, @JCameronShow, if you're interested. I'm sure you are when you get some downtime. Again, it's a lengthy article, but it's worth your time. And I was, right off the bat, it grabs you. If anyone knows the issues within the NCAA, it's Betsy Mitchell. She was an athlete, one of college athletics' richest juggernauts. Texas has been a coach at Division I's lowest tier, and now is the athletic director of one of the NCAA's smallest schools, Division III Caltech. She immediately understands the disparities between the NCAA's 1,000-member schools, and she's got a suggestion to fix it. The commercial priorities of some members means they need to do their own thing. I kind of wished they would. And it goes on to describe the rapid growth of a now bloated Division I and surging revenues at the top of the college football world, creating an untenable situation. Schools governing under the same umbrella despite striking disparities. As the new gap splinters the haves and have-nots, college sports leaders are gearing up for the most transformative year in the industry since the late 1970s, a now 50-year-old fight barreling towards, figuratively, a bloody ending. Change is imminent. This is going to be a time of rebirth. At this week's 2022 NCAA convention in Indianapolis, just blocks away from the NCAA's own headquarters, college leaders are poised to take the first step in the process of transforming how college athletics govern themselves. A new, streamlined constitution, one that grants authority to each division to create its own policy, is expected to be approved today in a vote of Division I, II, and III members. It sets the stage for a much more important step, the restructuring of Division I athletics. But we'll see. And a microcosm of the NCAA Division I's is a fractured group of 350 schools, 32 conferences, 3 sections, FBS, FCS, and non-football playing members whose differing resources, missions, and abilities have made it nearly impossible to regulate competitive equity. All right. You're shooting down bots over there. You're getting praised for it.
Yeah, that's just what I do,
They come out in mass on this show for some reason.
Every day we have a Russian bot.
It's a Russian bot making it. They're trying to get to us.
Either that or somebody trying to post unsavory videos of.
You don't let the unsavory videos fly for a while. Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry about all that ass in the chat. I didn't see it. Now I'll come swooping in, clean this
clicked
thing
on
up.
the link.
Yeah. I would love for there to be, like, sometimes I'll forget to check. I'll go long stretches at a time because I get frustrated with social media and the lack of nuance on something like, say, Twitter, right? Where if you say something, then it's always black and white. It's, no nuance on Twitter. And I'll forget to check it. And then somehow I'll get added a bunch of times and I'll be like, oh, what happened here? Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes people are like, yeah, you're an a-hole. Other times like, oh, we love you. Whatever it is, right? But I I would love for there to be a trending moment born out of this show's chat room in which they're like, have you gone to the Jeff Cameron Show's chat room lately? And it's just entitled, the thread's just entitled, Ass in the Chat. That's all it is. Like, what is going on? Matthew. Quick update before we break. It is Florida State pulling away. Get you some Ospreys. You don't just roll on into the TLC double C and expect to walk away with a victory here. You especially don't when you're 0-11 on the road. Meaning you quite literally did not expect to stroll on into the TLC double C and expect to get a victory today. It is 72-56. Noles starting to put it on the Ospreys. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This month has already been a long, cold year, but nothing breaks up the cold like a cozy, warm fireplace in your home from Hearth and Patio. You may not know this, but many of today's modern, environmentally friendly indoor fireplace designs offer amazing energy efficiency. And when you get a new fireplace installed by Hearth and Patio, they will also service the equipment to make sure it lasts for years to come. Something else you may not know, Hearth and Patio can also repair your existing fireplace. I'm going to read you a recent review from a real customer. Donna says, our gas fireplace stopped working at a time when we experienced our coldest weather. I called other companies, but the earliest they could send someone out was 10 days. Then I called Hearth and Patio, and they had a technician at my house the next day. He not only was friendly, he fixed the problem and never tried to sell me something I did not need. It was so refreshing. I would not hesitate to call Hearth and Patio again. So the moral of the story is, when you need a fireplace repaired, replaced, or installed, just call Hearth and Patio at 727-4282 or find them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Our friends at ISF want to wish you a very happy new year. Listen, you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you work hard to move your agency forward while navigating the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF understands. They're a national management and IT consulting firm serving clients across the country. As we turn the page to another year, ISF reminds you to think big and stay focused on your goals for the future. ISF, your vision, our expertise, solving the future. Visit ISF.com to learn more.
There was a time when a person's word was enough, a time when a handshake meant something and integrity really mattered. Farm Bureau Insurance continues to live by these principles. That's our pledge, and it hasn't changed since the day we got started. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. From Hurricane Kate to Hurricane Michael, Tallahassee has been through a lot, and we've been right here with you because helping you is what we do best.
Are you stumped on who to call for fast and affordable crane and tree service? Deep South Tree Service is a cut above the rest. They go out on a limb for their customers. With the largest crane in the Big Bend area, no job is too tall, no job is too small. Call Rob for a free quote today. 850-877-TREE. That's 877-8733. Deep South Tree Service. Our roots run deep.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com.
Francisco Green Bay game. Giving 6 doesn't feel good. Taking 6 doesn't feel good. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think you had it right yesterday with teasing it down to a Green Bay pick'em.
I'll tease it to a Green Bay pick'em for the win. I may end up, I'll be honest with you, I may tease up the Rams. I'm already getting 3. You give me the Rams and 9. So give me the Rams and 9 and the Packers on a pick'em for the teaser of the day.
Doubling down on the Packers.
I feel like yeah. I want to be wrong. I would rather San Francisco win that game. Well, it's a weird thing. It would set up great either way. So think about that scenario playing out, why that's great as an NFL football fan. Okay. Selfishly, I'm a Bucs fan. I want them to win a second consecutive Super Bowl. I want them to do whatever they have to do to make that happen. If you're not a Bucs fan, you don't want to see that happening because I'm like you. If a team wins a Super Bowl, I don't want to see them win it again the next year. So I don't care who they are. Unless it's your team, you don't want to see somebody win back-to-back Super Bowls. Got it. All right. But we're also football fans. We're also huge fans of the drama, the soap opera, the money that's involved in terms of who gets paid, who doesn't, what coach stays, what coach doesn't. That's why every year, and this is so well done from the NFL. I mean, even they fall into it. Some of it's a setup. Some of it's stuff that they've done. They've engineered. They've done a good job with. Baseball could learn something from the NFL in this regard. But when 8 jobs are open, Matt, you listen, you can't help but kick around with your buddies over a cold one, which of those jobs you'd want. You put yourself, and what does that lead to? It leads to you assessing an organization in its totality. And very few sports do you do that. You're usually assessing players only, coaches only, not organizational structure. But the NFL has invited us in such a way that from the top down, you can look historically at what an organization has been, especially if there's been consistency of ownership. So, for example, the Washington football team is a mess. We know this. Dan Snyder is a mess. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I remember talking to Brad Johnson after he had been in Washington. Okay, so that's how long ago this was. Brad Johnson in Washington. Now, having been retired for quite a long time, Brad Johnson. And he couldn't wait to leave, and he was putting up numbers. If you go back and look, Brad Johnson lit it up for Washington. And I asked him about it, and he was like, he took his wife to a dinner that they were invited to, like a team function. And again, I'm going to be intentionally vague here. He was mortified by Dan Snyder's behavior and the lack of leadership and who the man was. And basically was like, yeah, the sooner I can get out of here, the better. Because guys can look and say, this isn't going to go well. This isn't, he may not do anything personally affronting to me as the starting quarterback. He may know enough not to say anything to me, but I can see the way he treats people. I can see the way he interacts with people, in particular women. I can see the way that he is with those that are subservient to him in the organization. And I don't want to be around a guy or work for a guy who treats people like this. This never ends well if you do, right? So think about how far back that goes. Well, we're all aware of that. You've read countless articles. I have too. And we do it for each organization, and we know who the owners are. We know the Steelers and the Ravens have been as well run as any organization in sports for a very long time, especially the Steelers, right? And then you go back through and you try to, everybody else fits somewhere uniquely within that ranking system in our minds that we then debate when we see the job opening. Do you have good support? Is there good leadership? Do you have to work with a GM that you bring in, or is there one existing that you like that has made the decision to move on from the previous coach, but you could get along with just fine and has shown the capability of putting together a roster? Because I think as a coach, and a lot of these guys want to be able to make their own decisions as far as personnel goes, because all the way back to Bill Parcells talking about coaching a team, putting a team together, they won't let you shop for the groceries. You remember the quote? So, but the problem is that takes up a lot of your time and energy. And if you have a guy who can do it really well, Jason Light in Tampa has put together a roster now. There's no getting around that. It's Tom Brady came into a ready-made situation. Now, I'll grant you, bringing Gronk around helped a lot, and we appreciate that. And those two guys are major factors in the Bucs' dominance. But it's not like Godwin wasn't already there. It's not like Evans wasn't already there. Wasn't like they didn't draft Vita Vea. Wasn't like Lavonte David wasn't already there. Shaq Barrett wasn't already there. JPP wasn't already there. Devin White drafted by Jason Light. You go on down the list, right? So so if you got a guy who's shown he can do that, what a nice situation to step into. And we go into these weekends, these divisional playoff rounds impact that history and what we think about players, legacies, and everything else. It's year round. It's year round. And here we are this weekend coming in, and you're thinking, well, okay, so this legacy could be taken, and we probably do it too much, and I get tired of it, and I know the talking points and the talking heads, they get fed this, they get told they have to talk about how does this impact Aaron Rodgers' legacy, what does this do for Tom Brady if he wins an 8th Super Bowl, whatever that might be, right? Go on down the list. It gets old. But we all privately do it sitting around with our friends. Like, where are you as an organization? Where do you fit in the pantheon of all these? If we look at the league and teams that make up the fabric of that league, how much of the patch is yours? Everybody's just fighting for the expanded patch. You want to look at that quilt, if you will, and say, look at that big old spot for the Bucks. The biggest spots are for the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Packers, the Niners. You know, those are the biggest, the Steelers. Those are the biggest packs or swaths. Everybody else just trying to expand. Some people just want something other than their helmet, their little tiny ass helmet. Think about it. If you're Detroit, you just got this little tiny helmet on. If you're Arizona, little tiny ass helmet.
Who has the smaller helmet, Detroit or Jacksonville?
Jacksonville. Well, they're newer, and also, was the quilt being put together under the mindset of since the league began, or the modern era, Super Bowl era? Because if it's Super Bowl era, Detroit's quilt is that is a tiny helmet. But if it's all-time NFL, then they get a bit of a pass like Cleveland does because of the pre-Super Bowl era dominance at times, of stretches of time. You know what I mean? Chicago's got a big part of the quilt.
This is completely random, but this is kind of what the show is today.
Yeah.
I saw a video yesterday of Barry Sanders. Just some highlights.
You didn't grow up watching Barry Sanders.
No, I'm considerably younger than you are.
That is true.
It's like he was running. He could see 4 seconds into the future. Some of the cuts, and it just made no sense.
Did you notice in that highlight video that I have now seen a million times because it's the one released that was put together by the NFL years ago? Notice how many times those moves are against the Bucks. I mean, we were in the same division back then. He killed the Bucks. There's one where poor John Lynch, who's a Hall of Famer, is made to look silly. Then again, don't feel bad, John. So did everybody else. Yeah, I tell people, we have this discussion. It's like, and now I've lived long enough to where we're far enough removed from Barry Sanders' career that I forget that people in their 30s really didn't watch Barry Sanders play. They really didn't get to. I remember him at Oklahoma State. Go ahead and cringe.
My God.
But I remember him. Yeah, I remember him in the Gator Bowl over in Jacksonville. But it was a video game. Yes, the vision, the stop-start. Plus, he was, if you think about what he was too, he's so low to the ground with that ability to get small behind the line of scrimmage. But he had huge legs. Guys bounced off of him. And then, of course, he'd make you miss in a phone booth. So it was unreasonable, the skill set that he had. 77-67, Florida State, 4:22 to play. Noles being led currently 21 from Caleb Mills. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Secretary of State Blinken is warning of a unified, swift, severe response from the U.S. and its allies if Russia sends any military forces into Ukraine. His comments in Berlin appeared to be another effort to clear up confusion about the position of the U.S. and its NATO allies after President Biden has been heavily criticized for saying a minor incursion by Russia would elicit a lesser response. President Biden hinting the upcoming midterm elections might not be legitimate after Senate Democrats failed to advance the controversial voting rights package on Wednesday. Bob Agnew has more.
The president said Wednesday failure to pass the Democrats' voting rights bills may cast a cloud over the upcoming election. When asked whether he believed the election would be legitimate, he told reporters it depends. Quote, the increase in the prospect of being illegitimate is in direct proportion to us not being able to get these reforms passed. Some GOP critics say the president may be laying the groundwork to dispute election results if Democrats, as expected, suffer losses in the 2022 midterms. Bob Agnew reporting.
Also at townhall.com, in consumer news, Amazon venturing deeper into the world of brick and mortar retailing.
The online giant plans to open a clothing store in a Southern California mall later this year. First for Amazon, it will pose a fresh challenge to already struggling traditional retailers. The store, which will sell women's and men's clothing, along with shoes and other accessories, will open at a mall in Glendale. Shoppers will get personalized recommendations pushed to their phones as they browse the new Amazon-style store, stocked mostly with non-Amazon fashion labels. Rich Thomason reporting.
The Dow's had 246 points and the NASDAQ up 158. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's that time again. Time for fresh starts and resolutions. And Harry's can help. Harry's is an award-winning razor brand that makes a full range of grooming essentials. But the benefits go way beyond a great shave at a fair price. Maybe you resolve to take control of your finances. With cartridge refills as low as $2 each, your budget won't even flinch when you switch to Harry's and save all year. And with checkout code SRNGOLD at harrys.com, you can get a trial set for just $3. If your resolution is to always look and feel your best, that's Harry's specialty. Their high-quality razors combine an ergonomic design with 5 super sharp blades, shipped directly to you with a 100% money-back guarantee. New customers can get a Harry's starter set for just $3 at harrys.com with code SRNGOLD at checkout. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, and travel cover, all for just $3. That's code SRNGOLD at checkout at harrys.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
before the break, and it occurs to me that I've lived long enough now to be far enough removed from when Barry Sanders was in his prime and had the career that he did, of which I saw every second, including his college run. And I find it fascinating that there are people Matthew's age, director Matthew's age, who is considerably younger than me. Are you even, what are you, 25, 26?
I just turned 26 in December.
There it is. Okay. So just under half my age, just barely under. That's amazing. So it didn't occur to me till you brought it up, and we were talking about the totality of the league and the male soap opera and the ownership groups and the coaches and the players and the legacies of where they sit on, and we came up with this fictitious giant quilt that you didn't get to see Barry Sanders play. You didn't get to see him play in college. You didn't get to see him play in the pros.
Yeah, he retired in what, 98, 99?
Double check it. I don't. It's been that. You know what happens with players? A lot of people can relate to this, and the playoffs make you nostalgic. We get into. I think the divisional round's the best, and we were talking about the Rams against the Bucs, and obviously the 49ers against the Packers. That we didn't even get to the Titans and the Bengals. I'll need to do that because I think that's a great game. I'm really excited about that game.
Barry retired in 98,
Yeah.
so I would have been turning 3 that year.
It's remarkable. So you did not get to see him at all. I mean, not even one time. Can you remember sitting down on a couch watching a football game and seeing Barry Sanders do what Barry Sanders does? And so, that's remarkable because I saw all of his games, and he was a cheat code. He was a joystick. He was insane. He did things that we had never seen before in a lot of ways. And obviously 2 different positions, and Barry did it in a way that is greater than almost anybody to ever live. But Peter Warrick did that in college. Like, you also didn't get to really watch that. Peter Warrick in college, go look at the Peter Warrick highlight reel on YouTube. Go look at, somebody posted it not long ago, and every now and again I just pull it up. And of course, I covered Peter Warrick and covered that Florida State team and was there covering the 1999 national championship against Virginia Tech when he makes the catch that ends the game and told Chris Winkie in the huddle, let's end it. Throw me the ball. And he goes and makes that play. So it's interesting to me. And I now I can feel a little of what my dad used to feel when I was obsessed with whatever modern player there was. And he would say, he reminds me of, I saw somebody on the chat brought up Gale Sayers. I never got to see Gale Sayers. Now, I've watched highlight reels, and I know that unfortunately his career was derailed by a devastating injury, an injury that if it was to happen today, he would have been able to come back from. But back then, ACLs, they tore. That was it. That's it. That's all. It was tough.
He would have come back in like 4 weeks the way we're going.
He would have come back in like a month to start. But yeah, I've seen those highlight. I wish I had watched Jim Brown in his prime. Obviously, nobody was built like Jim Brown at the time that he played. Like, he looks very much like a modern player. The physique, the size. He would have been a big back, a bruising back. That also had patience, speed. Jim Brown is considered by many to have been, for a long time, I don't know if it's still true because the sport has grown so much, but at the time he was the greatest lacrosse player to ever live. I mean, he's that kind of an athlete. When you watch those guys, and my dad would go, oh, you need to go back and watch these guys. Well, the vault to compare players to now, this is the benefit of age. Like, the size of the vault that I can reach into to see a modern player and say, hey, this guy's an awful lot like this guy. Because keep in mind, I start getting into football, and again, this is my favorite weekend of the year in the NFL. These divisional playoff rounds are my favorite because what you get here is enough games to satiate the appetite for good football, right? It's not like when you get in the AFC championship game, the NFC championship game, there's just one game on each side of the ledger. That's all you get. And you're reminded, once we've whittled it down to that select group, that football's almost over. And so it's a little bit like the 60 Minutes theme, tick, 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 tick in your head that depresses you on Sundays when you hear it. Like when you're watching a game, the 4 o'clock games on Sunday, and you see the 60 Minutes commercial, and there's the stopwatch, you instantly feel crestfallen. Your heart sinks. You go into deep depression, even if you love your job. And you're thinking, I'll watch 60 Minutes. It's great. But it's just damn depressing because it is an overwhelming red stop sign for the weekend. It's like, hey, your fun is over. Let's buckle it up. In my case, it's like, get the kids' lunch ready for tomorrow morning. Get your ass in bed. The week starts. Let's get it on. That said, I was referring to the huge vault of players to compare and contrast, and this is the weekend. So I'm thinking about the biggest games of this particular weekend, that my favorite in the NFL, right? I'm not talking about the games that are playing this weekend. I'm talking about all time. How many times I sat and watched these great players. Florida State comfortably ahead, 86-73, going to close out the victory today, guys. Don't have to worry about the Ospreys. All is well. Noles will get the win as expected. I'm going to respond to that in a second on the chat. But I'll give you the lowdown here. 21 out of Caleb Mills, 21 out of Matthew Cleveland. Some young guns, a lot of talent. Cleveland on the day, 8 of 16 from the field, 5 of 9 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds to go along with 4 assists, 2 steals, just 2 turnovers. Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. We got 13 out of Ngom. Good to see him get some minutes. Important that we get greater depth and length as he comes back to health. I think he can be a contributing factor. As for the starters today, Butler with 4, McLeod with 2, Evans with 7, 21 from Caleb Mills, as I said. And Polite adds 9 and continues to be, well, a pretty good rebounder for sure. More efficient from the field today, 4 of 7. Did not hit a three-pointer. 86-73 is now a final. Florida State wins, moves to 12-5 and 8-1 at home. Next up, Miami. I fear, as I suggested yesterday, that's not going to be a great game. We need that number posted as soon as possible. I'll prize picks you on the college sports book as soon as we get it. And I'm going to be very curious. Florida State is going to be in, I think we'll see what the books do. Maybe a little overvalued, because obviously it's been a good week. You come off the win against Duke. Prior to that, you got the road win and you got the win over Miami. Florida State trending in the right direction, and understandably so, all of a sudden back on the radar. But will they take a close look at what is being asked of this Florida State team, which is, again, 3 games, 5 days. 2 of them incredibly emotional. I just wonder if you don't have one of those games that every team has, and we see it constantly. And whenever I'm watching one of those, when you see a good team or a team that has played well get blown the hell out, don't you always go back then and look at their schedule? Do you try to see, oh, well, no wonder. They had a quick turnaround. Oh, they had 2 guys out from COVID. They didn't have their bench. Or there's always some reason where a team just gets boat raced after playing good basketball. And I'm worried. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm worried that could be on the horizon for Florida State. Back to the NFC and AFC championship games, or divisional round of the playoffs, which I, again, brace and celebrate and get excited about because there's so many of those. I believe that this is where those memories are made. This is where you talk about guys like, I don't know. Tom Brady can't hurt his legacy if he loses on Sunday. It doesn't change anything. Nothing's going to change for him. The guys that stand to gain the most in these playoffs this year, certainly Josh Allen. I would think that Patrick Mahomes can add to the legacy. If you think about, if you're going to go to AFC championship games and Super Bowls on the regular, even if you're not always winning them, and he's now 1-1 in Super Bowls, yeah, man, that you're adding to your legacy. Titans, Derrick Henry, maybe. Anything he can change? If he has 200 yards upon coming back. By the way, took contact this week. Are we getting word on this? Is this accurate? I'm going to have to take a break. I want to hunt this down and find out if it's an accurate suggestion that's on the chat. Somebody texted me as well. We'll see, involving Florida State coaches and potential change. We'll see. I don't want to comment on it until we can get confirmation. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out?
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
When you are approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
I may be Dr. Nina Ford Johnson, but I'm a mom first. My babies will be getting the COVID vaccine as soon as they're old enough. The risk from COVID far outweigh any risk from side effects of the vaccine.
Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant
for some time now about Ron Dugans, but nothing official coming out today. Don't know that there will be. I do know on our site on warchant.com you can read about Winston Wright, the transfer from West Virginia, and I'm excited about how he projects. Obviously, a very, very productive receiver. If you go back and you're trying to find guys that have done it at the college level, trying to find guys that have done it in the Power 5, when you get transfer portal guys, I think most people look at it and say, all right, well, does it fit a position of need? Yes, the answer is yes in this case, big time. And then number two, what evidence do I have that this is a guy that's going to come in and be an agent of change? Like, we're going to see something from this group, this segment group that we haven't seen because this guy has arrived. And a lot of times in the transfer portal, those qualities aren't met. A lot of it's about potential. A lot of it's that this guy was unhappy being a backup somewhere, or he had an injury that forced him to miss a season, and therefore, maybe he fell further behind the depth chart. He became disgruntled, whatever. His time there wasn't to his liking, so he puts his name in the transfer portal. And so you're getting a kid who was recruited already, and you go back and you look at his recruiting ranking, you look at who made offers to him before the injury, and you try to find out what does he project as. And it's hard to know that from a distance because you don't know how a guy's rehab went. You just assume your coaches are doing their due diligence, that they're putting in the background work. They're doing all those things. That's what we did with the kid from Oregon at running back yesterday, is that we had the conversation about, well, that, this is what he was thought to be coming out of high school. This is why he was on our radar. If he's healthy, this is what he could be. But those are always big ifs. I love it when you get a guy like Winston Wright. He's been West Virginia's leading receiver the last 2 years. So you're not asking yourself whether a guy can play at this level. You're not asking yourself whether or not a guy can be productive at the Power 5 level. You're saying that guy has done those things. He had 63 catches for nearly 700 yards and 5 touchdowns last year. He would come in as a guy who has done it in the Power 5 and immediately emerge as likely a pick to click. He'd be the first. Others you'd look at and say, yeah, the potential is there, but the numbers aren't, they're not there. Hell, one of the guys who I know a lot of people are rightfully excited about, I'm talking about Span. I mean, he has 5 receptions. So most of us kind of, well, great. So you start asking around. You start trying to learn, well, how is it that guy was so well thought of by us? What was it that we knew? What was it that stood out about him that we would want him in the transfer portal? Like, you kind of get Micah Pittman. You think about the family pedigree. You think about what he was going to college. He can return punts. That's on film. So you're at least getting a guy who's going to help you immediately in an area of extreme weakness. And then, of course, if he emerges as a viable receiver to go with the skill set, then you get excited about all of that. That's true. But there's no doubt that the flyer you took is on a guy coming from Illinois that has 5 receptions. But the more you learn about that, the more excited you are about what he could be. The problem for him is that he saw himself as a quarterback and really wanted to play quarterback, and his family really wanted him to play quarterback. And I don't know that the dedication and commitment to being a receiver was ever there. But if you look at body type and you look at speed, you're saying, okay, yes, please. You're going to take risks on athletic prowess. Jimbo used to talk about taking risks. If you're going to take them, especially at the skill position, on speed. Because you can't teach that. Can't teach that. Can a guy get up and go? Can he really get up and go? Because if he can, all these coaches think they can save everybody. All these coaches believe they'll be the ones that have the breakthrough that changes the mentality. Change of scenery, change of philosophy, different talking points, utilized in different ways. Come with me. I promise you, you'll take the leap that you were looking to make before. And these days it gets very interesting because we have assessed recruiters forever. That's what college football is. Jimmy's and Joe's. Bobby Bowden was a legendary recruiter. And when we think about the building of programs and the success of those programs, pretty much they go hand in hand with those that have been able to walk into homes and convince parents, hearts and minds, of the children to come with them, especially if that child runs a 4.2. So there you go, right? And when you get a guy, there are always question marks about, hey, well, I like his coaching acumen. I think he's got the X's and O's. Can he recruit the state? Can he get the yeses from kids that change programs? All right. Well, now we do that not only with your standard coaching, but how well can you hit that transfer portal? How well do you monitor, assess, project, and convince kids in the transfer portal to come to your school to fill glaring needs? It's not just about the high schools now. It's about those areas of weakness because you're losing kids from your own roster to the transfer portal. So you're constantly re-recruiting your own roster, looking into the transfer portal, recruiting somebody else's roster to go along with the recruiting of high school kids. Man, it's exhausting. Good thing you're paid well. But there is no time to make excuses. If you fail on a high school kid, you better fill it with a transfer portal kid. And if it's a kid that nobody knows or has very little production, unlike the aforementioned Winston Wright, who has a lot of production, it better be because you're taking a chance on the upside of pure speed and athleticism that few possess, and that's what he is. That's what Span is. That's the potential that you're going to get in, and you're going to be able to convince him, hey, man, I think you need to be a receiver. I know Illinois told you this and you didn't want to believe it. I don't know. It's one of those things where maybe you have to fudge the truth a little bit. You muddy the waters a little bit, Matthew. Maybe you say, well, we certainly love you as a receiver and we think that there's great opportunities for you at receiver here in Tallahassee. Our roster's got a bit of a hole there at the position at the segment group, and so we would like to work you in there. But we understand that you still want to play some quarterback. And, I can't promise you anything about being a starting quarterback or anything like that, but maybe you're our emergency quarterback. Maybe you could be a guy that we turn to as an emergency option. It's not totally off the table. Of course, you have no intentions whatsoever of making him an emergency quarterback at all, but, you got to do what you got to do. Got to do what you got to do. So going back to Winston Wright, he's plug and play. He's plug and play. He's a guy that I think comes in and is our one receiver from day one. And I think that from there, we'll monitor the other guys. We'll talk about the other guys. I mean, there's film obviously on Wilson. There's other guys that you like, but he's going to be. So go to, my point was I'm plugging the site. Go to warchant.com and listen to his interview. And he discusses his transfer and you can learn a little bit more about who he is, but watch his film. He's a guy that gets right in. If you don't know, you hopped in your car. Maybe you're just joining the broadcast on Warchant TV. Florida State did win today over North Florida rather handily. It got a little dicey in the second half, cut to 5 at one point. You're worried about not having the bounce in the step or the focus mentally after a big win against Duke, but Florida State does win handily, pulls away in the second half, 86-73. Led by, as I said earlier, Caleb Mills with 21, Matthew Cleveland with 21, others contributing greatly. Anthony Polite with 9, 13 from Ngom. Good to see him out there as well. You got 7 from Raekwon Evans. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department is investigating a shooting that occurred Tuesday night in the area of San Luis and Solana Roads. The victim, who police have not identified, was walking in the area when a black vehicle stopped and rolled the window down. The vehicle had 2 men in the car, both with ski masks, and the driver was holding a gun. The victim heard a gunshot and ran until he realized he had been shot. The victim was transported to the hospital and has since been released. No crime scene has been located, and so far, there are no suspects. Officials did not provide details regarding what led to the shooting. The first phase of updates to Magnolia Drive is nearing completion. In July 2021, Leon County announced it would be temporarily closing portions of South Magnolia Drive to make infrastructure improvements. By the end of February, you'll be able to see the progress they've made, including underground utilities, widened sidewalks, and safety enhancements. The entire project comes with a $1.8 million price tag. The second phase is expected to reopen in late summer. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 71, winds out of the southwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Scattered rain showers likely tonight, lows level off around 46, overcast skies. Chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow, highs level off around 52, cloudy skies expected. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 64.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness.
Help state governments solve the future through strategy, process, technology. Your strategy sets the bar for long-term focus and priorities. Those priorities determine the process needed to accomplish each step along the way. Once the right process is defined, you need the technology solutions in place to support your needs both now and in the future. And that's where ISF comes in. They're experts in helping you put those pieces together. They've worked in 18 states for state and local agencies, serving millions of citizens, 40 years in business. We know at ISF that you want to do amazing things and you have goals, big goals, visions for the future. You want to work hard and see your agency move forward and navigate those unique challenges inherent in government operations. We all know that, right? So they've been helping government clients solve the future for 4 decades. They're a strategy firm, as I said, in business for 40 years. Cool that they're here in Tallahassee and they're serving the entire country as well. You and your staff work hard. Let somebody work hard for you and become more efficient. Get your stuff done. Your constituents depend on you. You've got brilliant ideas. You want to improve the processes. You want to streamline workflows. You want to introduce new technologies, reduce costly inefficiencies. ISF can help with all of those things. Check them out. Learn more about our friends and partners at ISF. That's ISF.com. ISF.com. I would start with coaching. I mean, we talked about the NFL this weekend, and it's fun to kind of go back and look at how these teams arrived. Think about the Tennessee Titans. So when you're solving for the future, you have to bring in a guy that can help get you there. Mike Vrabel was the defensive coordinator with the Houston Texans. He was hired by the Titans. He inherited Marcus Mariota, quickly realized Mariota couldn't play. That was a good decision. Moved on from there. He's gone 41-24. Team record prior to him taking over was 21-27. He's been to the playoffs 4 times, 2-2, went as far as the AFC Championship game. I'd say that was a good hire. The 49ers attempting to solve for the future. Kyle Shanahan was an offensive coordinator with the Falcons. Took over a mess with the 49ers. And because of that, is still sub 500, believe it or not. But he's 3-1 in the playoffs, advanced as far as the Super Bowl. So I'd say he turned things around prior to Kyle Shanahan being hired as head coach with the 49ers. They were 15-33 the previous 3 seasons. Kyle Shanahan has made a heck of a difference. I think you could probably argue that Bruce Arians belongs on this list of solving for the future. Bruce Arians, good situation. I think Bruce is a guy that is an interesting coach to dissect because a younger version of Bruce Arians was extremely well thought of as a head coach with the Arizona Cardinals. And obviously you go back and you look at his history, you understand that he's a guy, who's older. He's been brought in to rebuild franchises. Certainly he couldn't have known at the time that he took the Bucs job that he was going to get Tom Brady. But it's a hell of a thing to be able to get when you're in your late 60s and you've already retired from coaching twice because of your health. So that's a guy that walked in and wasn't exactly on a 5-year plan, but they brought him in because they knew that this was a lineup that was stacked. They wanted to see if they could get even more out of Winston. Then Brady became available. And they had the opportunity to grab the greatest player in NFL history, arguably, certainly greatest quarterback. And they said, oh, yeah, we'll do it. And since that time, the Bucs are 5-0 in the playoffs, won the Super Bowl, and are 31-18 under head coach Bruce Arians. Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills was an awfully good hire. Remember what Sean McDermott was prior to becoming the head coach with the Buffalo Bills? Had you even heard of him? You probably had. You knew him as a defensive coordinator. He had been with the Panthers. But he's a robust 49-32 since taking over with the Bills. They were 24-24. They were mired in mediocrity, 500, in fact, before he got there. 3-3 in the playoffs as he's built this thing up, advanced as far as the AFC Championship game. Quarterback he inherited at the time, Tyrod Taylor. Okay. All right. They benched him for Nathan Peterman. Oof. But Peterman immediately ceded the job back to Tyrod Taylor.
Was that the game he threw like 5 picks in the first quarter or something?
Yeah. That was a toughie. Lest we forget, by the way, Taylor led them to a win over the Chiefs. Bills got help from the Bengals, made an unlikely trip to the postseason that year. They lost to the Jags. Lost to the Jags in the playoffs. Weird conversation to have. The Bills have been rebuilt in the image of Sean McDermott. And Brandon Beane was hired as the team's GM in 2017, coming over from Carolina. They knew each other well. And then selecting Josh Allen, which, by the way, at the time was maligned and early on didn't look great, has turned out to be the right thing to do. And you've got a duo at safety in Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer that can really play. And this is a fun team to watch. And we'll see if McDermott ends up maybe being atop this list at some point if they go to the Super Bowl. And certainly they are a contender. Matt LaFleur with the Packers. So they've done everything except win a Super Bowl. He's 39-10 as the Packers coach. That doesn't suck. 2-2 in the postseason with a notable home loss in the NFC Championship game to eventual Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay. Did inherit Aaron Rodgers. Unlike others on this list that we're documenting as having inherited guys that they needed to move on from, he inherited the most talented quarterback in the league, at least when we're talking about arm talent. They went 13-3 in 2019, 13-3 in 2020, 13-3 in 2021. Here's a little 13-3 for that ass, is what Matt LaFleur said the day he arrived, and it's happened each and every year. Now, again, they were blown out by the 49ers in the 2019 NFC Championship game. Not good. Lost at home to the Bucs in the same game the following season last year. And he did make a decision to kick an infamous field goal in that game that stains the legacy a little bit, stains the resume a little bit. People are like looking at him, 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you for that. And then finally, solving for the future is what the Los Angeles Rams did by hiring a boy wonder at the time, Sean McVay, coming over as head coach. He had been, can you name it? Can you name where Sean McVay was? I knew I'd put you on the spot with this one, Matthew. A lot of people don't. And I think, in truth, had I not read this morning, maybe I hadn't. Where was Sean McVay before becoming the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams? A decision at the time that a lot of people thought, well, that's rather remarkable.
I have not one clue.
He was the offensive coordinator for Washington. Since he has become the head coach of the Rams, they're 55-26. They've gone to a Super Bowl. They're 4-3 in the playoffs. The team record prior to him getting to Los Angeles was 17-31. The last winning season it had posted before McVay arrived was in 2003, when McVay was a 17-year-old junior quarterback in Georgia. Running back Steven Jackson's entire career came and went without the Rams posting a single 9-win season. They have posted a winning season in each of McVay's first 5 years. Turned them around immediately. In his first offseason with the team, he and GM Les Snead signed Robert Woods, Andrew Whitworth in free agency, drafted Cooper Kupp, Gerald Everett, John Johnson, traded for Sammy Watkins. It's gone pretty well, save for the souring of a relationship with Jared Goff. But my relationship with Jared Goff would sour too. If I'm trying to win a Super Bowl and I'm staring out there at you, Jared Goff, I'm thinking that ain't going to happen. So there's your list, and that's how you solve for the future, and it's fun. I really am going to guess, even if you're a die-hard football fan, I'm betting most people missed the Sean McVay thing.
The Eagles saw him 2 times a year, and I
had
no idea. So he was there with Cousins and RG3?
Yeah, pull up Sean McVay. It is kind of cool. I mean, you know what you remember most about him is like when he got hired, I can remember us saying this. Yeah, he was. He was there. This is how long he was in Washington, okay? By the way, he was an offensive assistant, I can't speak, in Tampa Bay with the Bucks in 2008. Was he 12? He's 35 years old. I mean, goodness gracious, I'm not far off. So he had a 1-year stint with the Bucks. Then he was with the Florida Tuskers in 2009 as a wide receivers coach. He got hired by Washington as an offensive assistant in 2010. Then he became the tight ends coach 2011 through 2013, still in Washington. Then he became the offensive coordinator, so he's rising through the ranks quickly, 2014 through 2016. And then he became the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams in 2017, and they've had nothing but winning seasons. They've gone to the playoffs. By the way, he was the NFL Coach of the Year in 2017. Yeah, man, the old 55-26 in the regular season. He's got a plus winning percentage in the postseason. Only thing that eludes him is a Super Bowl, and obviously they've added up. Chips are in the middle of the table this year for this particular run at the Super Bowl. It's interesting because we've seen teams recently who've done what the Rams have done. If you don't win it and you've got a very tight window, you're hitting the reset button and you're in for some losing seasons that you've been able to avoid up to this point, and all of a sudden you go from boy wonder to being sour. Fans aren't patient, man. It's a salary cap league, and they know that it's built around going 8-8 in theory. So if you stay sub 500 for 2 and 3 years in a row, you go from great head coach to this guy's lost his mind, at least in the mindset of the fans. The Rams you look at their salary cap situation, need to win it this year. Really tragic to see the Saints that did the same thing and then came up short, just couldn't do it. And now, missed the playoffs. It hurts me. They've had some guys banged up. They got others they won't be able to re-sign. It's really trending in the wrong direction for them. My heart bleeds. Unlike some franchises who pony up and win the Super Bowl in their first year and then play with house money the next year. You've seen in that very same division that play out that way.
And when you say pony up, you're not talking about like bounties on other quarterbacks.
No. We're talking about doing the right thing, bringing in the right free agents, signing the right guys, making a run at a Super Bowl, completing successfully that task, and then going back and re-signing that same group to make a second run at it right there in your own division, showing you how that works. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. At ISF want to wish you a very happy new year. Listen, you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you work hard to move your agency forward while navigating the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF understands. They're a national management and IT consulting firm serving clients across the country. As we turn the page to another year, ISF reminds you to think big and stay focused on your goals for the future. ISF, your vision, our expertise, solving the future. Visit ISF.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
If you know me, you know how I feel about supporting local. You also know that I love dad jokes. So it really bugs me when somebody I know calls anyone other than Paul's Termite and Pest Control. This year marks 50 years that Paul's has been servicing our community as a family-owned business. That really means something. All treatment decisions are made right here, not some corporate headquarters 100 miles away, but right here. Local knowledge means they know exactly when and how to beat certain issues that are unique to our region. All decisions about North Florida made by North Floridians, and being local doesn't always mean small. Paul's is the largest locally owned termite, pest, and lawn company in the region, but you'll always get the small town treatment and quick service also. Paul's offers a same-day treatment guarantee if you call by noon. If you see something in the morning that's not supposed to be in your house, call Paul's and they'll get them all that same afternoon. It's that easy. For the elimination of termites or any other pest, and for a greener lawn too, visit callpauls.com.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network.
Sure available for Saturday's game. Trey Hendrickson successfully cleared the concussion protocol, will play against Tennessee in the AFC divisional round playoff game. That, according to Zach Taylor, head coach Cincinnati. Good. Fun game, man. Can Cincinnati block it up? And how effective is Derrick Henry on the other side running the ball? First game back. Good to have that monster back in time for the playoffs. Imagine the first time. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, he's built differently, to say the least. So, Alabama's got a slew of, as we like to say, preternaturally great athletes. What you're molding and developing at Alabama when the freshmen come in is something slightly different than what we see pretty much everywhere else in the country. And therein lies kind of that distinct advantage that at some point we'd like to see us gain back again, like we did in 2013 with a team full of NFL players. But I would guess, and I'm sure this has been documented, and maybe I'm just positing this when I should go back and look before doing so, but don't you think Derrick Henry walked onto campus that first year at Alabama, and even amongst those athletes, as big, strong, fast, talented as they are, heads turned? I mean, who's built like that runs like that? When you see those advanced numbers, like the top end speed, the stop start, when you see those numbers, it doesn't seem possible for a man of that size. Who are your 3 favorite players in the league?
One quick note on the Derrick Henry thing. This is Tom's favorite picture.
It's him standing next to
Mark Ingram is not a small person.
Well, he's a thick person. He isn't a tall person. But yes, that picture is, if you're watching on Warchant TV, there's a picture of Derrick Henry standing next to Mark Ingram as they come out to midfield. That's this coin toss. I don't know what game this is. And it's just the dumbest thing ever. In fact, it's awesome. I would not want to tackle that. That's an understatement. You can't help it. You're like, I'm a grown man staring at this other man in awe. I know Derrick Henry isn't Hulk Hogan in terms of I mean, he's a better athlete than Hulk Hogan, but you know what I mean? Like, Hulk Hogan's 6'8", 300 and whatever pounds. I met Hulk Hogan as a kid. You grow up in St. Pete, almost everybody met Hulk Hogan at some point. I met him twice. He was in a little cafe in downtown St. Pete. He also on the beach one time. And I remember thinking, well, there's something unsettling about meeting another human being. And this is especially true when you become a grown-up. There's something unsettling about meeting somebody who, despite your best efforts, even when you're at peak strength in fitness, like the strongest you ever were, the most flexible, fast, strong, explosive you ever were in your life. There's something really unsettling about being that, or something akin to it, and meeting a man that, you know, if he decided to do unspeakable things to you, just to grab, manhandle, and you know, kill, whatever, okay, that you couldn't do anything about it. I'm talking about just a person grabbing you.
I want to say
Derrick Henry looks like a guy who could do what I just described.
I want to say 2002-ish. My dad took me to a WWE live event in Tallahassee. We went to Chili's beforehand.
And you ran into some guys?
Triple H was sitting there. And this is the peak of Triple H.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's massive. Yeah. That's a big dude.
He was almost hanging out of the booth. He's so big.
Yeah. Wrestlers are a strange breed. I was in a pro-am down at Doral. That sounds really, really hoity-toity. And I mean it to be, because it was really cool. And that's where I did Jello shots with Mike Tyson, which was a lot of fun. But the point would be that when you look at, when you're around these guys, and the WWE was a big part of this, that they had 15, 16 different wrestlers that were at this thing. I took a picture. I posted it. It's me and Sergeant Slaughter. I saw old-ass Sergeant Slaughter, who's still a pretty big dude. But I stood behind the Big Show. We're walking to the golf course, and the Big Show is right in front of me. That doesn't even seem real. It's weird to look at a guy, another human being, like you're thinking, well, that's not a human being. Yeah. By the way, Hulk Hogan is not 6'8", he's 6'7". He's not 6'5", as the person on the chat suggested. He's 6'7". Either way, 6'7", 300 plus pounds, built like that. And when I saw him, it was 30 years ago. That's a different deal. Old Terry is a big guy.
That's what those vitamins do for you.
Go ahead, cue it up.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with a teaser probably, as I said on yesterday's show. I'm kind of wrestling with these games. I'm going to have to get better at it for tomorrow. But this all brought to you by our friends at North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. As for tonight, a little bit of college basketball. I'm inclined to look at Arizona Stanford under 152. That's just me. Now, if we're gonna want a game here, I think we're gonna keep talking about the teasers that we came up with earlier. I gotta tell you, I love the guy in the chat who somehow has worked in an 8.5 point 4-team parlay. If you can find that, and you can manipulate lines, and it's a lot of fun, and I would tell you to shop around and do just that. That's a blast. You start getting to a place, Matthew, where you feel like you can't lose. Of course, for you to hit, every one of them has to hit. It takes one team to muck up the works. But I have not been this perplexed as to a game just citing a winner. I last week went undefeated. I was certain about the games that we selected last week on this show. I took San Francisco to beat Dallas in Dallas. Obviously, I had the Bucks to beat the Eagles. And I'm talking about the spreads. Got all of these. Chiefs, obviously, in a whitewash over the Steelers. That game was never going to be close. It wasn't. We went through. I had the Bills beating New England, obviously. And we went through all these games. This is opposite week, man. Tennessee and Cincinnati, flummoxed. Packers and 49ers. Given the stats I gave earlier, the 49ers run the football. The Packers don't stop the run. Could get interesting. I still think the Packers win, but it could get interesting. I'm not willing to give the 6. I think the Rams should actually be a slight favorite given the Bucks injuries. So I guess I'm maybe telling on myself in that I would probably take the Rams getting the 3, but I don't feel great about it. I don't have the same degree of certainty that I did last week on these games. And I don't like to give just to give. We get to this stage, I want to kind of figure out. And you can't. You said it earlier. Neither of us can really feel comfortable at all placing a bet on a side with with Buffalo and Kansas City. I just know I can't wait to watch that damn game.
No, that game could be 35-10 either way or 35-34, I think.
Woo! It's rare that it happens, but occasionally we get it. You get a matchup that looks like it's potentially all-time great. And it lives up to it, and it becomes all-time great, and we go, this is awesome, especially if you don't have a team that you're siding with. You don't I'm just going to watch that game. I don't have to bet on everything, just so you know. I'm just going to watch that game and enjoy the hell out of that game and hope we actually get 35-34. Whatever, 41-38. Give us what that screams, at least on paper, please. It's pretty cool when you get games like that. When you get two teams that you wanted to see play and I know they met up the first time, but you wanted to see this game. We've been talking about it for a while, and now we get the opportunity. Good work out of you. Thanks to all of you. Recap real quick, by the way, Florida State did win today comfortably. If you're just jumping on, want to know, Noles won over the Ospreys, 20-plus for Mills, 20-plus for Cleveland. And now, do they have the legs to go on and get the win against Miami? Don't know. That I don't feel good about. If that line comes out tomorrow, I'll give you a side on that one too, even though I don't like to touch the Noles unless I feel really good about it. All right, good work out of you, Matthew. Good work again to all of you. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you. Be well. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Peace.